to this week's Movie Math, giving you an in-depth analysis of the box office for the weekend of May 18th, where the Avengers defeated their box office competition like so many Chitauri. Holding on to the number one spot in its third week with a drop that was actually smaller than its second week, The Avengers is now the sixth highest grossing film of all time domestically and the fourth highest grossing film of all time worldwide. In theaters across the globe for just about a month now, expect the film to play in theaters for most of the summer while casting a shadow over the summer box office as well. Avengers 2 is already in development, and you can bet that every single studio, including Disney, is studying what Marvel's done in an attempt to recreate it. It's almost as if Marvel has developed a super soldier serum for movies. Also, it was a stroke of luck that Marvel had to stick their name on the movie in an effort to differentiate it from 1998's The Avengers, creating phenomenal brand recognition for the company. It's a shame it can't be DC Comics' The Dark Knight Rises, although Nolanites would probably revolt en masse. Yes, Warner Brothers continues to have a problem with their own superhero franchise, as they've created something of a monster with Christopher Nolan, an undoubtedly visionary director, but one who competes for ownership with the DC brand and isn't even interested in sticking around. It's also worth noting, though, that Joss Whedon has said he's not sure if he'll come back for Avengers 2, but then again, he might just be trying to get more money out of the notoriously cheap Disney and Marvel. Also, in regards to Warner Brothers, their hands are tied as any effort to imitate Marvel's success will come off to fans as desperation rather than good business. But as I've said before, though, Warner Brothers and DC should just swallow their pride and not lose another minute building their own cinematic universe. It doesn't need to mirror Marvel's creatively, but it must mirror them structurally. The biggest question mark of the weekend, though, is whether or not the Avengers simply dominated or benefited from a lack of real competition. Battleship has been dead in the water for weeks now after failing to impress international audiences, and sure enough opened with half what was expected. Universal is already bracing themselves for a loss on the film, with comparisons being drawn to John Carter. And not just because of box office performance, but because both films star Taylor Kitsch. Poor Taylor Kitsch! I've seen both John Carter and Battleship, and I thought they were fun B-movies and that Kitsch did nice work. However, these two box office bombs cannot be ignored, and because both films were actually pretty good, it leads me to believe the problem lies with Kitsch. Some actors just don't click with the majority of audiences, and Kitsch seems to be one of them. What do you think of Taylor Kitsch? Is he a talented actor with spectacularly bad luck, or another model-turned-actor who just doesn't make the cut? As for the rest of the box office, Sacha Baron Cohen's third time was not the charm, with The Dictator posting the comedian's worst debut yet. Made for almost 4 times the budget of Borat, thankfully The Dictator is faring much better overseas, where foreign audiences could potentially keep the film in the black. Meanwhile, Dark Shadows is losing blood as quickly as Barnabas Collins' Victims, dropping almost 60% in its second weekend. It's even losing ground on Sleepy Hollow, indicating Burton and Depp might have finally overstayed their welcome. As for the weekend's other new release, What to Expect When You're Expecting also delivered half of what was predicted. Is Elizabeth Banks the new female Paul Rudd? And when will studios realize that star-studded movies only impress audiences when they feature real stars? Finally, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel had another stellar weekend at the box office, posting the only gain despite not adding any new theaters. Yes, the pick climbed to number 6 while still playing in only 178 theaters. As for this coming weekend, Men in Black 3 is expected to finally dethrone the Avengers with $85 million, while Chernobyl Diaries looks to scavenge for scraps. Also in the limited release market, be sure to look for Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom and the international French hit The Untouchables. And that's the weekend box office. I'm Grace Randolph, and we just did some movie math. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll go beyond the trailer for these other top movies.